Hey guys, another beautiful day in Stony Point. Back on the build again today, trying to wrap up F channel for my soffits. I have a trip coming up to Denver for about 5 days. Wanted to get some progress made, but I didn't want to be in a position where if we had weather move through within the next week that could get me into trouble. So I'm just kind of going around and getting trim and things put up, starter strips, and getting prepped for when I get back, where I can really hopefully make some progress and knock some things out. Yesterday I started putting up the F channel for the soffit panels on the eave ends, and today I'm going to take down my 2x4s that I have up to secure the house wrap. I'm going to take those off and get the F channel put up on the gabled ends underneath the rake, and hopefully maybe even get started on some getting prepped for the starter strip on the stone that I can do when I get back. The eave ends, I did something a little bit different as opposed to doing a bird box look on the soffit, and I'll show you what we've done there. It's just picked it up off of Marshall Remodel, the Mad County Build series. He detailed how he did his soffits, and he elected to not do a bird box under his soffit, and I'm going to try to do the same thing. Let me show you what we have, what I completed yesterday, and then give you a little look at what we're doing today. All right, this is up under the eave end, my rake, and I've built some blocking here to finish my soffit panels. I can run my eave soffit panels over to the edge, and I'll be able to put the F channel down and run my soffit panels down around and hook it in, and that'll make a nice look, as opposed to a bird box, which comes all the way out to this fascia and you box it in. I'll end up putting a small piece of flashing to cover that little hole there on all the corners, but that should give me a nice look. Basically secured it with two 2x4s and a piece of 5/8 OSB sandwiched in between. Pretty solid piece. I could probably do a chin up on it. And then you can see my F channel that I ran all along the bottom. And I will show you guys how to do that. I'm gonna take these boards off next and run my F channel on the gable ends. Okay, so here's the piece. I just cut my starter piece. This is gonna lip over my fascia board on the eave end, and this will go up against the inside of it. So I'll have everything covered underneath. Let me show you how I'm getting this up there and getting it into the proper position underneath the eave so that my soffit panel, or under the rake, so that my soffit panel runs level. So here's my soffit panel, and you can see it has these little ridges on it. So I have to account for that when I put up my F channel. I can't put it up flush to my fascia board. So I use my square, put it on the wall, which is plumb, and then I bring it down 1/4 of an inch to account for this. This will sit on the bottom of the fascia panel and be held into the other side with the F channel. So I need to account for this basically 1/4 of an inch or so. That way my panel isn't sitting not straight. So I use my square, bring it down 1/4 of an inch. Some of them I just eyeball, get it close. If I'm within a 1/16, I don't think you're gonna notice that, but that's how I'm getting my panel set. So it is a bit breezy today, so I apologize for the wind noise in the camera. But there is a look at what I'm doing for the soffit panels. So far, I like the look. It's working out. These are vented, so they're perforated to give me ventilation. The air should be sucked in through here and out through the ridge cap. So as the hot air rises, it kind of provides a vacuum to bring air in through the eaves and up out the ridge. My gabled ends will have soffit panels as well, but those will be solid. And that just helps keep the airflow going in the right direction and keeping condensation and the temperature equalized on both sides of that steel panel. Here's my little work table that I have set up, and I'm trimming off, as you can see by the mess, I'm trimming off a 1/2 inch, and I'll show you how I'm doing that. The gabled end panels are full sheets, and I have those laying underneath in a box here. Those will all have to be cut as well, so I didn't really lose any time on those. But this is taking a little extra time to put these together. Okay, so I've marked my panel. We're gonna cut a 1/2 inch off of this. I've just used my square to mark it. And I start out with my red tin snips. The trickiest part is this cut right here because of this little bend, but I'll show you how I do that. And I start on this end, the flat end here, red snips. And basically for me, what makes it easy to remember which snip I need to use is for this side, this jaw curls the steel up. These are the reds. These are supposed to be able to cut left, but I just come along here, manipulate the panel as needed. This doesn't have to be a perfect cut because it's going to be hidden. So I cut to the rib, and then I change to my greens. And I cut halfway up on the rib with my greens, pull the steel back the other way, and then continue on with my reds. Get to the next rib, again, just pull it down. Greens cut to the center of the rib. Pull it back up, back to reds. The rib, one more. Okay, now I'm to the tricky part here. So I just bend that back, use my greens because I want this side to curl up, the side that I'm throwing away. So I cut as far as I can there. Flip it over. Actually, let's pick this up this way, and I'll cut as far as I can around the bend there. Switch to my reds. Trim it off, open that bend back up, and there's my panel. Now I'll show you how to put it, how I'm fastening it to the building. Try to do this with one hand here. Apologize again for the wind noise. I'm using galvanized, 18 gauge galvanized staples to hold these in, and all you need to do is slide this panel in to the F channel. Put it in there. Everything is square. My fascia is square and my wall is square to my fascia. So then all I do is put a couple of staples in. I'm doing like every other, so I put a staple in here and a staple in here, and that holds my panel up for me. And that's what it looks like. Rinse and repeat all the way down. There's really not any difference in doing the rakes versus the eaves. The only thing that I had to do is up there in the corner, I just split a piece and bent it down on both sides, right where one of those ribs lies. It seemed to work pretty good. And then I'll just go down on both sides and run them all the way down to the ends. I'm doing the back side first just because it's my first time doing this, and if I'm gonna mess something up, I'd rather have it on the back side. But that's the start I got as of right now. Okay, one side complete under the rake, and kind of show you here what I'm doing on the end. You basically just have to rip a panel. Get it to come out to the fascia there, and then I'll have a piece of fascia will we'll cover all that up. That's going to come around and it'll actually wrap around the corner there just a little bit. And then the other piece will come down and wrap. So it should look pretty good when it's all said and done. So far so good. I'm going to finish this end all the way down to the eave, and then we'll start the front. And here's a look at the side. All I did was cut a piece of fascia there. Didn't have to use any flat stock. Worked out really nice. And then my corner piece will come up and we'll cover that. So I'm very, very happy that that turned out the way it did. And we'll do the same with the other side. All right, here's a look at the finished product. Soffit panels installed, fascia yet to go. You'll notice right there the F channel is a little bit different color than the white Soffit panels, and that's because I installed it upside down. Most of it's going to be hidden by J channel for the siding. However, that little 1 foot section right where I'm pointing there will be left exposed, uncovered. And my plan is when the temperature gets a little warmer is to get out there and paint that. That way it matches. But otherwise, all the F channel will be hidden. I really couldn't tell it until you got the panels up there, and then it was very noticeable. So we'll get that taken care of here down the road. Up next will be the fascia install. Very happy with the Soffit panels, and hopefully fascia goes just as smooth. Stay tuned, lots more to come. That's all we got for today. We'll see you on the next video.